In his delicate and perceptive novel about growing up at the beginning of the 20th century, L.P. Hartley in The Go-Between starts the book with the sentence, "The past is a foreign country. They do things differently there." As the Church of Scotland looks to its future, we might want to change this to, "The future is a foreign country. They do things differently there." Having lived through this year of enforced change and adaptation, everyone in the church and in the world has had to take things up or lay things aside. Weaknesses and strengths have been exposed. It will be a time for reflection and looking back at what we have learned. In 2019, the General Assembly appointed a special commission to report on the effectiveness of the Presbyterian form of church government, particularly in relation to how best enable mission at congregational level. The Commission believes that one cannot simply focus on one area in our structure, since all are interrelated, the local, the regional, and the national. It's certainly been a challenge for us, a small commission of 5 people with no budget to support our work. For some, the concept of effectiveness needs to be applied to something which can be measured. The Commission wanted to explore issues around what effectiveness in governing the church might mean. We are of the view that Presbyterianism is an effective form of church government. It provides mechanisms for selecting, training, and deploying ministers, as well as training elders and deacons. It exercises discipline and raises and distributes funds. It provides a variety of forms of support and many, many other activities. You might argue it is not always efficient, but it is effective. Some might wonder if there are other forms of church government that are more effective than ours. To answer this, it would have been necessary to measure the ability of other churches to deliver ministry and mission and to deliver leadership. To remove as many variables as possible, only comparison with other churches in Scotland would have made any sense. But it would still have been impossible to compare like with like. The nearest comparator would have been the Roman Catholic Church in Scotland, but there, as I'm sure you would appreciate, differences in theology of leadership would have made comparison difficult. It is the view of the Special Commission that it is not the form of church government which is the decisive factor. Other factors such as theology, tradition, ethos, demographics were much more influential on attitudes towards engaging actively in mission and developing leadership than the actual form of government itself. The Commission's view is that Presbyterian government is as good a form of church government as any, but its fundamental effectiveness has to do with the attitude, experience, application, and above all else, the faith of the people who are within the system. That is us, being the best that we can be. We note that tremendous things under the restrictions of lockdown have been possible because of, and sometimes despite, our form of governance. Room for improvement? Absolutely yes. But any system is as good or otherwise because of the people who are within it. Some may have been looking for the Commission to come up with solutions and strategies. We understand that. But as we continued with our work, it became very clear to us that many other bodies around the Assembly would be doing precisely that. We wanted with our report to attempt something different this year. We wanted to encourage the church, the whole church, at local, regional, and national level to think and imagine and wonder and then act. It is our view that unless we imagine, unless we get our attitude right, And unless we take ownership of who we are as a church and what we want to do and be as a church, no amount of General Assembly deliverances will ever be effective. Early on in our work, the image of a mirror became important. The change, the effectiveness, even the efficiency that we seek and strive for will come from taking a hard and honest look at ourselves and the reality of our human, financial, and faith resources. The image of the mirror and the questions that populate the Commission's report must challenge us before we act. In a stressful and, let's face it, potentially doom-laden time, we also offer the injunction at the end of our report to cheer up. Our church has done much good, and we know and believe that further good awaits the people of Jesus in the future. The future may indeed be a foreign country, and they will certainly do things differently there. We believe on the Special Commission. There is no bad vision for the Church of Scotland in that, and that's one that we should grasp as we move forward, however hopefully, however tentatively, into the future that God has already prepared for us.